What up, what up, what up, what up? Hello, 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 hello. Oh yeah, we're gonna be watching this today. Oh, no, pause. Daco's got a video from a day ago. I wanna watch it. Talk about some other things. One of my upcoming theories. Two of my upcoming theories, actually. Might even refilm one of them. Well, film one of them today. Which I had done yesterday. And, hold on now. Okay. No echoes, no volume problems whatsoever, right, guys? Right? Might play some Roblox or something later. But I want to watch this Daco video, react to it. Maybe jump over and talk a little bit more about the Hyperdroid video or some other videos. Who knows? Hey, look, it's me. Oh, I'm in the power spot? That's weird for me to be in my own power spot. Really weird. Oh yeah, I know the secret of the mimic. We might watch this one today from Right Toast. Got a few things we want to get through, so let's get started. People will arrive later and whatnot, and I can always rewatch a bunch of this. So let's get into it. Ducko's got Midnight Motorist. Oh, is this that? Oh, this is the talking one, right? Where he just hangs out with another person. It's almost like a podcast with another theorist. Maybe I'll be on this one day.
What's going on, guys? Doco back again. We're gonna talk about some unsolved mysteries in FNAF.
That was 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10.
Galt has done it again, guys. Galt has done it again. Brilliant game, guys. Just absolutely brilliant game.
I do like that. That's good. That was a good voice.
Matt already did the intro, guys, so I'm not gonna do it. Welcome to
No,
episode...
you simply must.
No, you
show me how poorly I did.
No, okay. What's going on, guys? Ducko back again. Hope you're fantastic today. And welcome to episode 2 of FNAF Unsolved.
Only episode 2. Wow, I thought there was more of these.
Our special guest today is the wonderful Matt Pat. Thank you so much for coming on. It's so exciting.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Anytime I get a chance to hang out with you,
Love it.
Doco is always a win.
Okay.
We've got a very, very mysterious...
This is gonna be a good one just because it's Matt Pat. So I love Matt Pat episodes of anything because Matt Pat always has this way of like deep explaining things without even trying. Like Matt Pat's just such a wealth of knowledge that he just instantly like I don't know I feel like Matt Pat is like Matt Pat is like the closest you can get to like a real life like limitless situation where like you talk to Matt Pat and you just say something to him and all of a sudden he just has like this like deep well of information about something that you weren't even expecting. You're like, oh yeah, I had fries, and he's like, so about fries, and like he'll go into like this big long, you know, explanation or like I don't know, it crazy everything. He knows everything somehow.
Nights at Freddy's.
It is Five Nights at Freddy's.
Five Nights at Freddy's.
Subject in Five Nights at Freddy's is Midnight Motorist.
Oh,
Can I just call out the fact
this is great graphics too.
FNAF Unsolved Mysteries, but that's just literally all of FNAF.
Yeah.
It doesn't narrow down the topic at all.
That's why it's fun, because we can just keep making hundreds of episodes. So yeah, it's free content.
It is true.
It goes and goes. I understand. I get it. Yes, I'm
Hey.
right there with you.
Yeah, so
It's free real estate.
Man,
Yep.
came out with FNAF 6 back in December 2017.
Oof.
Oh wow, that's
yeah.
a long time.
2017.
That's a long time.
7 years later, it's pretty much still a big mystery. One of the biggest debates in the FNAF community still 7 years later on who the mysterious mustard man is in the minigame. And you know, it's quite a big minigame, isn't it? You know, it's got so many questions inside it. It's not just like, what's in the box? It's, what's Junior's? What's a dirt pile? Who's Mustard Man? What's the house? Where did the kid go? Did he get kidnapped or did he leave intentionally?
Right.
There's so much. So.
Hello. How have your guys' day been? Pretty good, Jill. How are you doing? How we doing? How you doing?
10th anniversary stuff where they're like, oh my
Is this
God,
loud enough? Also, do I need to turn this up for you guys?
and
I might
then
need
all
to
of a
turn this
sudden
up
it's
for you
like,
guys.
oh, no way, there's a screenshot of the level turning into Midnight Motorist
Yes.
level.
There
And
we
so
go.
people were even more hyped because it's like, oh, this is the thing that's finally going to give us information
Yeah.
about the most mysterious minigame that the franchise has seen yet. And then all of a sudden, 5 Laps comes out, and it's like, oh, no lore here. Cool,
Yeah.
guys. Appreciate that one.
There's one specific thing that I want to bring up about that later on at the end. Have you seen the Midnight Motor, the actual car? And it's got like a little spring bonnie antenna at the back. That's
does, yeah.
weird, isn't it? That's very strange.
Hold up, is that the thing that you were going to bring up at the very end, but then you
Yes.
just brought it up right now?
I did bring it up,
Love
but you
it.
know, guys, we'll talk about it later.
It's like the anti-YouTube strategy. Like all other YouTubers are like, we've got something that's coming up at the very end of the episode, guys. So make sure you stay tuned. Daco's like, I got something that's coming up at the very end of the episode, and I'm gonna tell you what it is
Right
now.
Right now.
We'll go more in
Don't even
depth
have
to
to
it
wait.
later on.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
My thing, so I do want to talk about that too, is the Midnight Motorist, like the purple car with the spring bonnie little thing on it. Is I do want to say that technically that doesn't mean much, and honestly, I get that it's probably supposed to be a nod to the fact that the purple car might be Afton's, but at the same time, I feel like in real life that'd be a little bit too on the nose, right? That'd be a little too on the nose that the guy who murders people in the Golden Rabbit costume would then drive around with the Golden Rabbit on his car to indicate that that's his car. I feel like that would definitely be a serial killer no. It's like, but I mean, it'd be like on the same level as the fact that like Ted Bundy would go around still using his first name when he was committing murders or attempting to commit murders. He would tell his victims that his name was Ted. He would just change his last name. It's like the same thing. It's like, you're a little too cocky there, bud. Like, you're literally using your name, your actual real name, for your victims, and then expecting them to not realize that it's you or something, like, or expect people not to realize that it's you or something. But anyway, but yeah, I get that it's probably Scott and them probably alluding to the fact that it is William's car, which sucks because it ruins my entire Midnight Motorist theory. But, and of course it would get ruined before I even ever get to do a video on it, because so many people, like, enough of you guys voted that you wanted me to do a theory on it, which I'm still in the middle of working on the other theory that everyone actually did vote for me to do first, which is the Fredbear, the kid in the Golden Fredbear suit, that Golden Freddy is that the vengeful spirit, or Golden Freddy, is the son of Henry and the twin brother of Charlie. And I'm still working on that. And me and Dabs have gone through the first draft of it, and I did not perform well because I was in. Never mind, I won't explain why, but I didn't do a very good recording of it. So I'm going to be doing a better recording of it and redoing it. But yeah, be on the nose. Granted, noise. Granted, they also all know that William was one of the creators of said suit, and no one found the yellow rabbit killer to be linked to him. That's the thing, though. In my theories, in my headcanon, William didn't invent Bonnie or Freddy, right? That Henry had both Bonnie and Freddy at the Fredbear Family Diner, which he owned by himself. And William didn't come into the picture until Fazbear Entertainment was formed, and that was when Chica's Party World and Fredbear's Family Diner combined. But that's a whole longer storyline that is probably going to get ruined by Secret of the Mimic anyway, so I'm not worrying about it either. The only theory I have going right now that I'm fully confident isn't going to get ruined by a current or future game is the fact that Vengeful Spirit is Henry's son. That's the only theory that I have going right now that I don't feel like it's going to get ruined soon. But hey, if I can get my theory out before it gets ruined, you know, dot dot dot. What up, Cross? I know Cross doesn't agree with some of my theories, which is fine because that's how you get better theories, is by having someone tell you no and then explain why you're wrong. Don't worry, every headcanon gets ruined by a newer part of the exactly. I mean, technically, my head, until Secrets of the Mimic comes out and proves me wrong, my headcanon on William and Henry owning separate restaurants and then coming together later hasn't been ruined yet. It's still possible, but it seems like that window is getting shrunk more and more. But until we get real information from Secret of the Mimic, I don't know what we're gonna do. And I'm really mad. I'm not mad. I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed that Secret of the Mimic is going to Jeremy Fitzgerald being Cassie's dad theory got stabbed by the week before. Yeah. Jeremy Fitzgerald being Cassie's dad. I mean, that's fine. I don't like the idea of any former like characters that we've seen in the universe being Cassie's dad, right? I don't like any of those, honestly. Like, Bonnie Bro doesn't make sense, like, mathematically speaking, doesn't make sense. I mean, Oswald's dad being Freddy Bro can make sense, technically. Well, actually, no, it can't make sense. It was actually mathematically impossible also due to Into the Pit. Right? Because Into the Pit... well, maybe... Yeah. Into the Pit made it to where Oswald's dad would have been 12 in 1983 or 10. How old is Oswald in Into the Pit again? I keep forgetting that. How old is Oswald in Into the Pit? Oswald's 10. Yeah, so his dad would have been 10. So that's my thing. I mean, it would be nice, but what I want is I want some clarification. So, like, Secret of the Mimic, I think in my head canon, it would be a Henry and his family specific story. It would be a pre-William in the picture story, which could actually verify my vengeful spirit theory if it does it correctly. It could technically verify my vengeful spirit theory of Henry of Dave, the vengeful spirit Dave being Henry's son, right? That could be proven correct in Secret of the Mimic. It's like, how old is he? 87 and still alive during PS. Well, that's the thing. It depends on how old he would be. So we can do the math, actually. Let's do some mathifications real quick, guys. Hold on. Let's do apps and calculator. Bring up my calc. Bring up the calc. Yeah, I mean, it does and it doesn't. I mean, it kind of makes... Let's say... Okay, so let's see. In 83... Let's see. In 83, we have, if Dave is the victim in the suit in 83, if Charlie and Dave and Crying Child are all 10, right? Let's say they're all the same age, so they're 10 in 83. So that means they were born in 73, which would mean that, let's say Henry had kids at 20, he would be 30 in 83. So he's already 30 in 83. We add, then we go to 83, we have to add 4 years to get to 5 years, we need, so he'd be 34 and 87, and then we add 30 years to get to FNAF 3. He'd be like 65? Sammy CEO Believer? What's Sammy CEO Believer? Oh, you think Sammy, you think Henry's son, Sammy, which is now, I think it's Dave, but that's the thing, yeah, so Sammy left with his mom and then came back and became CEO because his dad died and he ended up getting ownership, I mean, yeah, I guess technically ownership of Fazbear Entertainment would go to Sammy if he was still alive. If that's the case. Right? Age of 64. Yeah, that could be it. 64 would be the age of FNAF 3, and if FNAF 6 happened in the same year or close to it, that would make Henry like 65. Or, I mean, we can, plus or minus like 2 years, right? So I guess he would be about 64 in FNAF 6. He could be roughly 64 in FNAF 6 when he dies, which is actually solid. Could work under Sammy CEO theory. Life insurance, yeah. Well, that would be the thing is he left tapes behind. Well, he might. I wonder if anything was recoverable because if they were able to recover the tapes from the FNAF 6 fire, they would get a recording of Henry stating that he's basically taking his own life, which would null and void any life insurance policies. But that's up to that. I mean, that's up to that. Everyone has their opinions on what the worst parts of FNAF to solve are. Mine just happen to be ages, especially since I'm not the best. Well, that's the thing. No, you're right, though, Jill, is ages are fucked. Like, okay, so the youngest that someone would... So the youngest that the bullies would be is 13, right? 13. Which would mean that they were born in 1970, right? And it's highly believed that security breach takes place in 2035, right? Which means if it took place in 2035, that would mean that the kids would be, so you go from 70 to 35, that's 30, then another 35, that makes them 65. That would make Bonnie Bro at least 65 in security breach. So that means if he had a daughter who was 13 for Ruin, that would mean that 65 minus 13, he was 52 when she was born. And it only gets worse from there, because if she's only 10, then he was 55 when she was born, right? So the age is just, I understand that some people have children at that age still, but it is very uncommon. Would you buy an animatronic from FNAF and want it? Absolutely. Yeah, I would probably... No, I think I'd get Foxy. Candy Cadet... Oh, yeah, well, Candy Cadet's not really... I mean, I guess he's an animatronic. Yeah, he's more of just a machine. But Henry stole my $5. That's funny. But yeah, ages... Yeah. Yeah, you can say age is just a number. But also, that would also mean that... in Help Wanted 2, because we would be Cassie's dad in Help Wanted 2, in Help Wanted 2, we would be a 65-year-old man doing all that stuff. You know, doing the shooting, doing the all the swiveling around, quick motions and everything else. We would be 65 years old doing all that very quick physical activity, right? I just don't see it being plausible. Anyways, back to where I was. Yeah, there we are. So, I just don't see it plausible. Could Bonnie Bro be Cassie's grandfather? Absolutely. I would roll with that theory more. I would roll with the theory that Bonnie Bro is totally laughed over using Matthew Lillard to see what icon William Afton. That is, yeah, that's funny. That's actually really funny, too. Also, Matthew Lillard's old. Have these fat plastic fingers that can't press the buttons, right? Well, that's the thing. Matthew Lillard. Matthew Lillard is in his 50s. Yeah, he's 54. So Matthew Lillard at 54 playing William Afton in the early 2000s would put him actually at the right age. That would be the right age, because if 1970. No, he's too young. This is too young. He's too young for William Afton. He's too young for William Afton, guys. Well, no. Actually, no. hold on. No, because that would push his age back. If he's 54 in like 2003, which is I think the year that the movie takes place, that would make him 99, 49, 1949. Live William Afton reaction, right? But no, he's not too old. He would be too old if he was playing a 50-year-old William Afton today. Here's the funny thing. He is Matthew Lillard. Matthew Lillard may be playing William Afton, but he's technically the same age as Michael Afton. Oh, in the year 2000. Okay. So yeah, so he's the right age to play William Afton in the if it was taking place in 2000, but he's technically actually the same age as Michael Afton. Because Michael Afton would have been born in 1970, 1968 range for the Bite of 83 for the FNAF 4 game. Would put him right around 70 to 68 depending on how old we want to say those bullies are. Are they 13 or are they 15? So that's funny. That's actually pretty funny and pretty cool. Also, Matthew Lillard's slightly taller than me. It's slightly taller than me. Cool. So Matthew Lillard could play both William Afton and Michael Afton, depending on what time period the movies are supposed to actually take place. Not anymore. Hello, Puppet. Hello, everybody. If you guys haven't hit that subscribe button yet, make sure you guys do. Trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. We lost one over the day, I guess. So we're working on more. Yeah. Anyways, I always thought of the bullies as 14. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like, between 13 and 15. So yeah, so Matthew Lillard is like just the right age to play Michael Afton in a modern day FNAF. UCN this chat, apparently. No, I'm a superstar. Not my fault. I have these fat plastic fingers I can't press the buttons. What up, Light? Okay, anyways, let's continue listening to this.
Awesome.
These are
Sorry,
upcoming
guys.
attractions, yeah.
But yeah, a quick recap on how to get it.
Hello.
So we've just said it's in FNAF 6.
13.
It's in the
That's what I'm
Pizza
thinking too,
Simulator bar, you get
13-ish.
the Midnight Motorist arcade machine. And it starts off with the banging music at the start. You're in a pink car and you're speeding through a bunch of other purple cars. But there's like a little glitch at the side of the road, right? Later on in the
Afton,
game.
my holy
And
grail.
if you go in there, you get this huge
Yeah,
mini-game.
it seems
You
like
drive
you're
around the
confirmed.
town, in the
I'm just saying, narratively speaking, it would have been so much more satisfying for this to have been Fritz's story than to be another Afton thing. Like, here's my problem is by time we got to UCN, we were so oversaturated with Afton backstory that some of it started overlapping in weird ways that didn't help the situation. Like, it didn't help us any, right? Like, this, like, the Midnight Motorist thing doesn't help. It doesn't help us any, right? It honestly leaves a lot more questions and answers nothing. It literally answered no questions for us. It just gave us more, right? Why was there bunny footprints? Why did it look like Michael had left? What's going on with, like, why do we need more Michael backstory? Because it didn't give us anything. It's not like Michael dies to an animatronic ever. It's not like Michael does anything with this. The next time we know about Michael after... So this is just like, here's a little extra thing after Cassidy died that Michael did. And now the next thing we know of is Michael going into sister location after William gets spring locked, right? Have you stopped notifying your Discord server your live? Oh, I just forget to do it. I don't have an automated system to do it, and I just forgot. And also, to be honest with you, Beanie, it really didn't help with numbers. It was me just doing an extra step for no reason. It's the same with my Twitter. I used to update Twitter every time I went live, but it yielded 0 results, so it was pointless. Everybody gets notifications through YouTube anyways, and everybody should know my schedule by now, which is I get started at 12:30 every night, or right around that time. I guess I got started a little early today because I got home a little early today. But anyways, yeah. Actually doing a FNAF stream. Yay! I don't know why people over-exaggerate with something and being mentioned or said shoehorn. That's the thing, but I'd like them being used in a way that it actually gives us something. Midnight Motorist gave us nothing. It when I first saw Midnight Motorist, the first thing I did was count toes and try to figure out the time period along with who they were, any alterations to a single variable, throws, everything off. Well, it's supposed to be later that night, which would have been later, which a lot of people are saying is later that night that he kills Charlie. For some reason, it doesn't give me notification. Do you got the bell clicked, and do you have the bell fully clicked with all instead of just sometime or whatever? Like right here, if you click this, it would do personalized, none, unsubscribe, or all. Click it, click all. I don't know, man. I don't know after that point, dude. You gotta look in your... Well, you gotta check your actual YouTube settings themselves. Sometimes you gotta go in there and check to make sure that those are still saying, give me notifications. Offensive with what theories I believe. No, dude, you're not. No, that's the thing. You have your own headcanon, dude, and as long as you're not like calling me a piece of shit for not believing in the same headcanons as you, we're good. That's what I mean. It's like challenge me as much as you want. As long as you're not being like belligerent about it, I'm cool with it. Yeah, it's when you start telling other people that they're wrong and you think they're stupid. Like for me, the only time that I'm like that is with the Evan thing. Yeah, guess what? What? No, like and like for this, I'm not even saying I'm right or wrong, or I'm not even saying anything about wrong. I'm just saying that Midnight Motorist, I feel in my opinion, didn't give us anything. I don't know what it's supposed to depict, and I guess at this point they're saying that it's William, but like, I don't feel like it gave us anything, or all it did was give us more questions that have no answers. Semi-Tails Games believer and a Stitch Line reboot believer. So that's the thing too, is I'm not a full on I don't believe Tails games, or I don't believe Stitch Line or whatnot. I think that I know you do, Beanie. I see them all the time. I watch them. I just don't believe that everything. That's the thing, is I believe you can get information from anywhere and everywhere, but I don't believe that all information we get from anywhere besides the actual main games themselves, are always going to be full continuity. I think that you can take pieces from it, and you have to be hesitant about believing everything, because not everything is going to be game canon, and if you try and make everything game canon, it's going to make your life very frustrating. Give me context as to what both of those are, please. So Tails Games. So Jill, Tails Games is a group of Tails Games theory is a theory line where people believe that every single short story in the Tales from the Pizzaplex books are all. Truth is, I just stopped caring about the book, right? Is that all of the Tales of the Pizzaplex games are all game continuity. That every single short story in those 12 books, or 8 books, that all of them are game continuity. And then the Stitch line is that the Stitch Wraith storyline, at least, is game continuity, which I believe 100% is not right. I think the Stitch Wraith storyline is an alternate storyline in the same vein as the Silver Eyes storyline and the movie storyline. Yeah, I believe that part of Tales of the Pizzaplex will take place in the game continuity, but some of it won't. Some of it is adjacent. So this is how I do my theorizing, right? Is that anything that's in the main games, so 1 through UCN, Help Wanted 1 and 2, Security Breach, and Ruin, those are all full game continuity. Theory where the Into the Pit game or reboots updates the books to end the debate. Because it became a game. See, that's where I I got the Toy Chica with the sub. Thanks for the sub, Toy Chica. Appreciate it. So for me on that one, I don't believe so. But people are like I said, people are allowed to believe what they want to. But for me, it's more of like, because of the origins of Into the Pit. Because of the origins of Into the Pit, I don't think that I think it's a non-starter for that. And I just feel like so all 4 of those were already subbed. I don't know why it's giving them re-notifications like that. That's weird. But yeah, the origins of Into the Pit being created, I think for me personally, like I said, other people can take it how they want. For me, it kind of it does the opposite. For me, it does the opposite. I think it more confirms that the books are not every story in the book or the Stitch Ray thing is like actually in the games, because again, Into the Pit was never intended to be a continuity game, right? It started off not being a continuity game and was created in the fashion of not being a continuity game, and event actually just being a novelty game. But once they saw what they had gotten, wanted it to be more than, well, it's because he saw what they were doing with it. I see, that's the thing, is I don't think so. If he wanted it to be that way, he would have been more involved. He even said himself, all he did was saw what was going on every few months, gave him a list of things they couldn't put in it because it would cause too much debate in the community, and that was the end of it. Or else, like, he didn't give them anything to put in it. He just told them what they needed to remove so it wouldn't change things, so it wouldn't cause too much drama, right? Because they at one point said that they wanted to put in like a Vanny Easter egg kind of situation, where like Vanny was working with Pit Trap or whatever we call him, and he said, don't do that, that will really fuck with the community, is all he did. He didn't say, hey, I need you to add this, this, and this so that it keeps, so that it can join the continuity. Was cut from the Into the Pit. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He was like, you guys can't put Vanny in this because that will cause too much ruckus in the community. But he didn't tell them that they couldn't add the GGY thing, which GGY high score definitely is not something that would actually be continuity. No. I think that's the thing too, is I think people want to read too far into some of the situation. Like I said, in the interview, he said that he was very hands off on this project, because it wasn't like, it's not his. It's not part of, like, it was going to be a novelty idea where they were just going to make some, like SNES cartridges of the game. But when they saw what they were getting done and how much they liked it, they pitched it to Scott as being like, hey, can we do more than just that? He said, let me see what you got. They showed him, and he was like, oh, this actually looks really good. Let's make it a full Steam release kind of game instead of just making a novelty game. He was like, he basically said that they did so well on the project that it would be a shame for it to only be available to like 1% at most of the community. Not that it would be a shame that it couldn't be added into the continuity, just that it would be a shame for so few people to actually get to recognize how good of a job they were doing on the project, is essentially what he said in the interview. It wasn't hinted at or said, hey, it's continuity. I don't think it has any more continuity than the book did. Like, I think it was a novelty game. They did a really good job on it, and he thought that it would be a waste for them to do all this hard work only for it to be recognized by a very small portion of the community. He wanted it to be available for everyone to be able to see it, right? What up, Curse? It's almost like the same as like you write a short story or a poem or something for your English class in high school, and your English teacher reading it and saying, hey, we should submit this to a publication so that way you can get into like a literary magazine or something because this is such a good story. Right? They're like, it would be a shame for only your classmates to see this. You did such a great job that we need to try and get more eyes on it. Doesn't mean that it's going to add to this other book series or something else. It's something that was so good that we're going to try and get more eyes on it. Curse Gang, what's going on, man? Oh, yeah. But again, that's my opinion. If other people want to believe that the Into the Pit game is supposed to be continuity, go for it. Just know that until I am given substantial evidence otherwise, I'm going to continue theorizing in the way that it doesn't have anything to do with the rest of the games. Because I feel like the Stitch Wraith thing wanted to remove things, but it doesn't match with us. Yeah. So it was more of like, because let's be honest, so if Into the Pit isn't part of the game continuity, you can already see where I'm coming from with this. You know, if right now people are assuming it's continuity, even if it isn't, right? I almost have no theory on this minigame. Oh, on Midnight Motorist, it's just more questions than answers, right? Actually, me personally, Midnight Motorist is 0 answers and all questions, right? Well, now anyways. At one point in time, I believed it was answers and very little questions, but now we flip-flopped again because of FNAF making it seem like it's William. It actually is William Afton driving the car. But no, so what I'm saying, like, is like what he did was he wanted more people to recognize how awesome of a job Mega Cat did on the game, or Mega Game Cat, or whatever, however their name is, right? He wanted to recognize how well they were actually doing, so he's like, let's make it an actual Steam release instead of it just being that novelty Super Nintendo cartridge release that it was originally intended to be. But he was like, because we're doing that, though, we need to make sure that we're not adding too many like Easter eggs or nods or winks at the rest of the franchise in a way that would cause the community to start assuming things are what they're not, right? So at one point in time, Vanny was in the game, and he nixed that idea. He's like, Vanny can't be in the game because that's too much, right? That's too out there that it will cause an uproar in the community, and they'll start thinking that Vanny existed back in the 80s. He wasn't saying, hey, this game's going to be continuity, so we have to keep it continuity. He was saying, hey, this game's going to be seen by a lot of people, and I don't want some of the community getting the wrong idea off of this game, right? The only other way that he could do that, I guess, more would be to go so far in the opposite direction, kind of like he does in the Freddy in Space games, where he throws so much shit in those that are clearly not continuity that it would be impossible for you to say this is all continuity, right? He makes the game so ridiculous that there's no way that you can, that no reasonable person could actually expect it to be actual continuity game. But Into the Pit looked so good that he didn't want them to have to do that. So he was just like, hey, let's just make sure that we don't go too nuts, right? You guys don't go too nuts, because he wasn't involved in the game creation at all. We'll get mad, but it's not what they meant, so Scott voided that. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, they just wanted to throw in some nods. That's why GGY having the high score on all the games is like a nod to the security breach stuff without it being, a direct thing. Like, without it, it's a nod, but it's not a big enough nod that people be like, oh, Gregory Robot existed back in the 80s, right? Like, it's not big enough for someone to be unreasonable, right? But if you would have had straight up Vanny existing, that would have been a different issue. Would have been a problem, because it would have been like, Vanny existed back in the 80s, apparently, right? So that's what it is. Now, back to Midnight, but hold on. But I also want to. So the reason that I don't believe in the Tales games theory or the Stitch Wraith line theory is because, and I know some people point out he only said that for Silver Eyes. He never corrected himself with the other books either. He did say when he first started writing books that the books are not always, he said that the books are going to be a different continuity, and that not every story that he writes is full on everything that happens in the actual game storyline. And in the second Doco interview, he does literally say, when it came to the Fazbear Frights, and actually he didn't even preference the Fazbear Frights. He just said in his short stories, he says, sometimes I just think of really good short story horror ideas. I'll jot down like 4 or 5 pages, and then I'll send it off to my writer to flesh it out into a full short story and put it into the books, right? And that dialogue right there says to me, not every single short story is going to be continuity. That it would be impossible for it to all be continuity, because he literally said, I just think of horror stories that I think will be good, write them down, and make them into a short story. He didn't say anything about, I think of stuff that's going to be good for the storyline or it's going to work great. He's just like, I think it's a good horror story. I make it into a short story, throw it at my writers. So to me, that says don't take every single short story as being full continuity, because it's not going to. But I think some of them are. And I think the ones that answer questions for us are the ones that we should be looking at more than the ones that give us more questions. Like Fazbear Goo, or Fazgoo, whatever. No. Fazgoo, he basically said in that same interview that Fazgoo is not game continuity. So if you have Fazgoo, if there is any stories in Tales of the Pizzaplex that has to do with Fazgoo, that instantly takes away the Tales games. It's for the best that not all the yes is continuity canon. Do not want Fazgoo to be an actual. Exactly. He also said that the Bonnie story impregnating a guy named Matt, who is not intentionally meant to be Matt Pat, but a guy named Matt getting impregnated by Bonnie, not continuity. He said it was just a joke. The Bonnie fishes. Bonnie Fish is not full continuity. Like Count the Ways. Not Count the Ways. To Be Beautiful. Definitely not continuity. Definitely not continuity. Because it has a circus baby stand-in named Eleanor, who is definitely not part of the continuity. That short story would actually be closer to the Silver Eyes series than it would be to the game continuity. To be fair, it would fit in better with the Silver Eyes series than with the games. Into the Pit, I think, is another one, because we don't get any reference to being able to travel into the agonizing memories of any victims in the games, right? In the book series, into the pit and the Stitch Wraith line, yeah, that's like the big thing. And I think that's what makes it a separate continuity, is that it has a whole different, it has a victory condition. And so far in the games, we've had no victory conditions, right? Every time we think we've found a way to win, we lose. Matt Springtrap story, they didn't believe me, so very confused. No, no. Scott clarified that he did not intentionally make Matt Pat a character in one of his stories to impregnate him with Bonnie. He said that is not he said that it was not a conscious decision that he made, and if it was subconsciously made, he didn't mean to do it. He said it wasn't on purpose. He just used the name Matt because, people are named Matt. Yeah. There is a short story where a character named Matt is impregnated and gives birth to a Bonnie. It's fucking weird, dude. That's what I mean. Is there's no way all of these short stories are in the actual game continuity universe. That's why, and Scott himself said he created a multiverse, which means any of his stories can be in any universe they want. It's like the MCU. It's like the Marvel Cinematic Universe. There's multiple universes now. There's multiple different timelines that can exist at the same time. No, dude, it's a real thing. Look it up. But no, there's multiple timelines now. There's multiple universes where in one universe Thazgu exists, but in another universe it's just William Merck and some kids, and in another universe it's animatronics going around replacing people by exchanging their consciousness with real people. You're the second theory guy I know other than Matt Pat. Hey, cool. Look it up, but I advise against it, right? Exactly. But no, that's what I mean. It's like it's a legitimate thing. But yeah, there is a FNAF verse. And the existence of a FNAF verse, I think, also is enough to defend my belief that not all the books are connected to all the games. And I think that's why Scott made the books in the first place, is that he needed an outlet for all these stories that weren't supposed to be part of the timeline. What y'all talking about? Exactly. But I think, that's legitimately it. I think Scott was like, I'm going to make these books because I have all these other stories that I'm thinking up that I want to get out, but I don't want to make them all games because people are going to think that they're all part of the games. And yeah. And sometimes I feel good luck, try to keep what remains of your sanity. Good luck, man. I'm 4 stories in. I'm not even 6 short stories into the Fazbear Fright series, and I'm already like, fucking what? Oh yeah, I just got done listening to my newest book from a different author that I can go back to the Fazbear Fright series and start reading those other books or those other stories and stuff. But anyways, this good. Oh, I'm what are we? We're almost 50 minutes into the stream and about 4.5 minutes into the video. I'm doing as good as Matt Pat does.
Pouring rain at night,
right, anyways.
Which is a very big detail, as Matt. You know, in your theory videos, we already know. We think it's the same night as Charlie's murder, which we will talk about in a minute. I keep spoiling things, guys. I'm sorry. This is what I'm
right.
Like. You drive down, you visit Junior's, and the green guy. Green guy. I like how we just say green guy.
Yeah, you don't want it, dude. You don't want it.
Guy.
I like that everyone's a guy. There's purple guy and green guy, but then it's mustard man. Like very, very important distinction there. Very lore important. Don't confuse your mustard man with your mustard guy or your yellow guy or your Cheeto man.
Exactly.
Very different. All important individual characters.
Yeah. So we take a visit to Junior's.
What
again,
up, Retro?
That's sort of a big subject that we'll talk about in a minute. I'm just doing a quick recap. You can say hello to the dirt pile. You go to the house.
Say hello to the dirt pile. Hey, dirt pile.
What up?
How you doing, man? One of the few things in this franchise that hasn't been anthropomorphized or turned into a character in FNAF world. Little dirt pile with googly eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Just the dirt pile.
We leave the car,
That's it.
and we see that we are this mysterious mustard man. We go into the house. There's somebody just chilling, watching TV, and says, you know, like, come on, just don't go too harsh on him or whatever. He's had a rough night or something. We knock on the door, no answer. We knock again, no answer, and then the mustard guy gets a bit aggressive, and then we take a tour outside, and we can see he's left to that place again. He'll be sorry when he gets back. So again, we'll talk
great
about
day
that
in
in
the
a minute.
press,
But
but
just
I
a
got
quick
you,
little
man.
recap,
Well, chill
before we
out,
get
relax.
started.
Don't
So,
worry about
yeah.
anything
The first
too
question I
depressing,
wanna
and
talk about-
just listen to us watch a video about child murder. Look, okay, watching that back again, and still in my head, I get that we're kind of hinting at in FNAF that it might be William Afton driving that car, but God, in my opinion, it just still works out so much better if this story is actually Fritz, right? If this is Fritz's story, it fits so much better. Like, okay, if this is William Afton, it just asks more questions, gives us no answers. If this is Fritz's story, it just gives us answers and asks very few questions, right? So if it's William Afton, right? If it's William Afton as Mustard Man, one, why is he a different color? Right? I've gone through this on streams before. It makes no sense that he's not purple. Like, some people have made, like, the explanation, like, well, it's dark out and they don't, purple doesn't look so good in, like, the dark and stuff. It's like, then why is his car purple? Right? Why is his car is purple, and it's very clearly purple. It's easy for us to tell that it's purple. His car has no issue being purple. So why is why is there an issue with him being purple? Raincoat, but he would have taken the raincoat off the second he came inside. He wouldn't have he would have changed to purple. Like, if you wanted to make it a raincoat, then he takes off the raincoat when he comes inside and turns purple. Right? Also, your raincoat wouldn't make all of you purple. If he was going to be wearing and here's the thing, if you go back, check this out, look, go back, get into the house, boom, right here, then this person right here is multicolored. See, they're gray here, but they have skin face, but he's all yellow. It makes no sense. If it was a raincoat, then it would just be from shoulders down to like waist or something like that, and it would still be purple in the important areas to distinguish that he is purple guy, right? That he is William Afton. Why is he yellow if he's William Afton? It makes no sense. Second of all, so who is this? Is this Mrs. Afton and we're talking about Michael? Or is this Michael and we're talking about Cassidy? Which, in that case, again, we already know Cassidy's story. Why do we have this extra information about Cassidy? Right? Why do we have this extra information about Cassidy? Same thing for Michael. What is the point? Midnight Motorist didn't answer anything for us. Why is he not purple? There is zero real explanation for why he's not purple, other than him being yellow now is like, we are grasping at straws to explain why he's yellow instead of purple. If this is William Afton, then Scott did this for no reason. He just did it to make it like a red herring, I guess. I don't know. So if it's William Afton, then these are all the questions we ask. 1, is it Michael or Cassidy that he's talking about in his room? 2, why are we in a whole different house setup? Right? Why are we in a whole different home all of a sudden, right? 3, who kidnapped the kid? Or what animatronic showed up? Right? Like, what is the point of the animatronic? The favorite chair. I just want to cosplay as his favorite chair, maybe. But like, why are we in a different house? Why is William a different color? Which child is he talking to? Is that his wife or is that Michael? Right? Those are all questions to ask. What's with the footsteps? Why did someone break in the window and then he climb out of it? Right? Where is he going? why is this important to the story is actually the biggest question. What does this give us about the story? Period. It doesn't give us anything. We already know most of the story of William of S, but I'm curious, like, yeah, what was your theory like? Give us your theory while I continue talking about this. But what does this give us? We already know most of the story, right? You know, Cassidy was scared of animatronics. Michael bullies him. Michael's bullying turns into Cassidy getting bit in the head and going, my worst theory in the world, he's still wearing the suit. No. He'd have ears. No ears. He would have ears. It would be very animatronic looking. Also, he wouldn't wear it in the rain. Never stand a chance, Devlin Harris. Yeah. Oh yeah. If he wore it, then spring locked. Also, he wouldn't be able to drive. You can't drive in the spring lock suits. In the spring lock suit, you never stand a chance. Yeah. Cool, Devlin. That's good. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button. How you doing, Devlin? But here's the thing. Now flip it. If this is the story of Fritz, it answers the question of, it gives us the backstory of all 5 kids. This gives us the final backstory of all 5 kids. FNAF 1 gave us the, when you play with Vegas, sometimes he burned. What are you, Devlin? Are you doing song lyrics in my chat for no reason? Please stop. Like, join the conversation or go somewhere else. No offense. I'm not desperate enough for viewers that I'll have someone just disrupting my chat the whole time. Like, join the conversation or go away. But anyways, so if it's the story of Fritz, then we have we have the final story of how all 5 kids died, right? FNAF 1 gives us a story of Gabriel and Jeremy. They're the 2 kids that are seen. I'm using Foxy voice. Oh, when you play with Vegas. Oh, Rockstar Foxy. He couldn't drive while in the suit, but then you have... Well, it's not that it's just different continuity. Into the Pit, that's literally an agony beast. Like, he didn't have the option. Also, he may have been driving as the Spring Bonnie, but he was also taking the form of his dad at the same time. So, the magic for that. That's magic. I'm talking about, like, practical, real life situation. You wouldn't be able to drive in a spring lock suit, right? Trolled and cursed or something. Yeah. It was an agony beast. It's like, that's like a legitimate monster created from the agony memories of those kids. And what is YouTube doing right now? What? YouTube, fix your shit. Pit Trap, I think is what we call him, is funny. Like, the suit isn't there, but he sees it, that there's a suit. Yeah, Foxy jump scare. Cool, Devlin. Anyways, yeah, what the fuck are you doing, YouTube? See, YouTube keeps pissing me off with this shit. There's at least 4 or 5 of you chatting in my chat. At least 3 of you chatting in my chat, and it's telling me I have 1 viewer. The fucking what? Like, I fucking what, mate? Like, what? Withered Foxy jump scare. Those, I actually like the Withered Foxy jump scare, right? But, like, what is happening, YouTube? It's also, it's saying I have 1 viewer. There's 4 of you chatting. You never say, he jumps, you're dead. No, it's not. I mean, eventually it will. It'll tell me eventually that I'm back up to, like, 8 viewers. And it went from 8 to 1 in no time whatsoever. YouTube, fix your shit. What the hell? Bullshit. Not okay with that, because that messes with my stats, man. 536 subscribers. We're going for 1,000. Yeah, I saw. Yeah, we were up to like 8 or 9 at one point. There it goes. Now it's ticking back up. About fucking time. It's so weird. Yeah, it does that to me all the time. Like, I'll look at my statistics and I'll be like, I don't remember there ever being a time when I had less than 4 people, but I'll go in and there'll be like times when it's like you had 0 viewers for 5 minutes, and I'm like, fucking win. Like, I know I didn't because Beanie was talking to me for like 4 hours straight. Or something like, you can go back to the replay and see if there's constantly people talking in my chat. But no, if this is the story of Fritz, and it still could be, FNAF doesn't mean anything technically right now. It could just be a joke, and it could come out in 2025 that they were, they played a prank on us or something like that. But like, if this is the story of Fritz instead, right, then this is the story of Fritz. It gives us the final background to all 5 kids' deaths, right? We've seen Susie's in the candy in the fruity maze. We see Susie's death, right? We see Charlie's death both in the puppet one and in the save him minigame, which is technically the save her minigame. It was before the retcon that Scott did. We've seen Crying Child's death. We know how Jeremy and Gabriel died because they are the FNAF 1 news article where it says 2 kids were lured to the back and were lured to the back and never seen again in that. And we know how Vengeful Spirit dies, in my opinion, because he's in the FNAF 4 mini games. He's the bundle of bushy brown hair in the Golden Freddy suit. Right? So we've seen all of them except for Fritz. If this is Fritz's background, then we've seen all of the deaths. If this isn't Fritz's backstory, then we still don't know how Fritz actually died. Right? And what happened to Michael Afton? Did the bite of... no, Michael Afton... Yeah, Michael Afton did the bite of 83 because he's the one who put Cassidy in Freddy's mouth to be nommed on. Michael dies in Sister Location when he gets scooped. Again, another character whose death we've seen. Like, we have the background on all the kids except for Fritz. On everybody except for Fritz. Cassidy. Cassidy is Cassidy is the name that I believe goes to Crying Child. I believe Dave goes to Vengeful Spirit. I know Hyperdroid said the opposite, but I have a lot of things that make me believe it's the opposite way, right? And it's in there, like, it's in the explanations. It makes more sense if you flip it the other way, but people want, the reason Hyperdroid believes that Cassidy is Vengeful Spirit and Dave is Crying Child is because Crying Child is confirmed boy, whereas some people, for some reason, still believe that Vengeful Spirit is a girl, when in every other iteration of the story, Golden Freddy's spirit is a boy, right? In every other version of this story, we see Golden Freddy is a boy. In the Silver Eyes series, it's Mike. The kid named Mike is Golden Freddy. In the movie series, it's a blonde-haired boy who is Golden Freddy. In some of the short stories, we see Golden Freddy alluded to as different boys. In the Stitch Wraith series, Golden Freddy is a kid named Andrew. People's theories about... I don't believe any of other people's theories about that. That's what I mean. It's like, in every other iteration of Golden Freddy, he is a boy. In the games, the picture to represent Vengeful Spirit, who is Golden Freddy, it's literally a picture of Scott Cawthon's own son. Just like super like cartoonized and then like overexposed and everything to make it like creepy looking. But it's seriously just a picture of his own son. The voice actor who did the voice, their direction was specifically an ambiguous gender young kid. Like the kid's gender is supposed to be ambiguous, which means indeterminable, right? But at the end of the day, everything still points to it being a boy. So a lot of people want to give Cassidy to... so the people who believe that Vengeful Spirit is a girl, which, again, there's a lot of evidence to say that that doesn't make sense. But that's why people are like, well, Dave is Crying Child and Cassidy is Vengeful Spirit, because Vengeful Spirit's a girl, so Cassidy is a girl's name. You're not going to get any girls named Dave for sure. But I believe the opposite, because Crying Child is an Afton, and all the Aftons are British. And Cassidy is a British boy name. It's a male British name. So that's how does Golden Freddy teleport? Golden Freddy teleports because he doesn't have the ability to move because his suit doesn't have an endoskeleton in it. That my theory is that the same Golden Freddy suit that Dave was killed in is the same Golden Freddy suit that was on the animatronic when it bit Cassidy. So once it bit Cassidy, it obviously had to be decommissioned. So they removed the skeleton parts of it and just left it as a empty suit. It's in full suit mode. It has no animatronic parts to move around. That's why it just sits there. And that's why it teleports, because he doesn't have a way to walk with it. Yeah. Suit mode, and you need to remove... Yeah, exactly. So that's why he teleports, because he can't physically move the suit. How did you know what I was gonna say? What I was gonna say? Because that's what it is. Because that's the theory. I mean, because that's the logical theory, is that Golden Freddy has no endo inside of him. Therefore, he's a full-on suit and only a suit. He's something to be. And that's it. He doesn't have animatronic parts in him. That's why he can't be moved around. That's also why he has wires sticking out of his eyes and stuff to represent that they are no longer connected into an endoskeleton. Those wires are sticking out of his eyes because they're not going where they're supposed to. Well, it's weird, but it's the only way he would be able to move around, right? Is by teleporting, and he is a spirit. And the other animatronics can teleport too. I don't know if you know this, but they can teleport too. There's only one animatronic. Did you know in FNAF 1? I mean, yeah, they can. Did you know in FNAF 1 there's only one animatronic that doesn't appear to be able to teleport? And that's Foxy. Foxy is the only animatronic that you can physically see move for his entire movement, his entire death thing. The other animatronics, yeah, he runs the other animatronics, the other three, they fuzz out the cameras and teleport somewhere. You don't actually physically see them move from one location to another. The cameras fuzz out when they move, and then they just appear somewhere else. And honestly, when you look, sometimes, did they really have enough time to go from one spot to the other? Freddy will go from stage to the girl's bathroom in like 3 seconds. You think he's Usain Bolt? He's just Usain Bolting all the way to the bathroom during those 3 seconds of snow? Those 3 seconds of fuzzies? Yeah. Is the one supposed to... Yeah, in the trailer... Yeah. He was going to make it Bonnie, but then he switched it to Foxy. Yep. Anyways, so yeah, Midnight Motorist, if this is Fritz's story, it makes a lot of sense. Yeah, 300-pound Usain Bolt. It makes a lot of sense. So what if... So this is my theory on what Midnight Motorist actually is. Midnight Motorist actually... Because it starts off, him speeding. Right? I think that this is the story of a abusive alcoholic father and his son's need to escape leading to his death. His father is an abusive alcoholic. He gets super drunk, driving drunk and reckless on the highway, right? Gets off at the street, tries to go back to the bar again. The bar cuts him off. Tells him he's not allowed to be drinking anymore because he's clearly driving. So they say, you're not allowed back. He goes home, and because he's drunk, he starts yelling at his son, because that's what... That is very much the MO of a lot of abusive alcoholic parents, is that they get super drunk and they just abuse their children. And it's very sad. It's a very sad thing, right? My live stream? That's... Evelyn, we are going to Remove that. Yep. That's no self-promotion without my permission, my bud, my dude, my guy, whatever. But yeah, so abusive alcoholic father, his son only escape from his abusive life is to spend as much time as possible at the local Freddy Fazbear Pizzeria or Fredbear Family Diner, whatever it is. Hanging out there. I subscribe to. That's cool, man. I'm glad that you did, but that doesn't mean you get to advertise yourself on somebody else. Would you like it if I did that? If I came in and was like, hey, I'm over here live streaming right now. Bomb jump scare. Weather bomb jump scare. I don't know what the weather bomb jump scare is. Anyways, but yeah, he hangs out there all the time. Maybe he's one he's being recognized by Golden Bonnie. By William Afton as his, like, maybe his father's shown up sometimes being an ass and stuff like that. And so William recognizes that he would be an easy target, right? Because has an abusive father. William's like, if I'm nice to him in the Golden Bonnie suit or whatever, I'll get his, you have one viewer? What? It's me. I don't know what you're getting at, Devlin. I want to preference this to everybody and anybody. Nobody's view is important enough for me to overlook people doing things that I don't approve of, right? Viewers are not important enough to me for me to just overlook you doing something that I'm not okay with, right? Self-promotion is not okay in any stream, period. At all. It doesn't matter if that streamer who's currently streaming, it doesn't matter if it's 5 million viewers or 2 viewers. It's not okay, right? And your one view is not important enough for me to tell you that it's okay to do something that I don't think is okay to do, right? Plain and simple. Anyways, but no, it could be that William recognized that Fritz had an abusive home and knew that he would be an easy target to, like, gain his trust. And then what I think Midnight Motorist is, because it does say in, like, the game files or something, later that night makes, in my mind, it makes more sense to be later that night after Fruity Maze, because you unlock them in that order. You unlock them Fruity Maze, then Midnight Motorist. Like, you unlock them as a group, actually. That's one than the other. Fruity Maze is slightly cheaper than Midnight Motorist. So you unlock them in that order if you're buying things, like, in, cost order. You buy Fruity Maze, you see Susie's story, then you buy Midnight Motorist and see Fritz's story. Susie's story, later that night, Fritz's story. So maybe he kills Susie, and then later that night, he goes and he gets Fritz. I avoided it because it was so scary for me, right? It's only scary if you're really good at it. And I'm not. I only ever got to, like, phase 2 one time for it. But anyways, yeah, so I'm like, that would make more sense as if he did, Susie and then Fritz. And then people are like, well, it's raining, so he wouldn't be out in the rain with the suit. It's like, yeah, it's raining now. But was it raining when he went and got Fritz? Maybe the rain is a red herring to throw you off from that, because it seems like Scott's been doing that a lot in the games. Is he kind of makes it to where you really have to commit to the story that you want to believe in order for you to get to the conclusion. Like, if you take little tiny things to say no, then you're gonna very easily miss out on a lot of the story, right? But yeah, so that's why I want to believe that Midnight Motorist is still going to be Fritz's story. I think it makes more sense that way, but that's just me. Anyways, let's get back into this. We're only 6 minutes into this 50-minute video, and we're an hour and 15 minutes into the stream.
And says, like, come on, just don't go too harsh on him or whatever. He's had a rough night or something.
Yeah, we were actually past this part.
He's left to that place again. He'll be sorry when he gets back. So, again, we'll talk about that in a minute. But just a quick little recap before we get started.
Yeah.
So, yeah. The first question I want to talk about, Matt, is Mustard Man. What do you think? Who is Mustard Man?
All right, yeah, let's go into Mustard Man. So first off, before we get to Mustard Man, I do want to call out the fact that I appreciate you mentioning the music, because the music to Midnight Motorist is so good. Like, Five Nights at Freddy's is not a franchise with a whole lot of like music that plays, but the music that does play throughout this franchise is so good.
It is
and
good,
I
yeah.
think it's, but the music
Oh,
that does
hold
play
on.
throughout
I
this
accidentally
franchise
hit the back
is
arrow on
so
accident.
good, and I think it's easy to sleep on the music in this franchise. Midnight Motorist is a banger.
It is,
For
right.
a while, I was writing all my scripts to Midnight Motorist just playing on loop in the background. No joke. Like, I would just like rock out to it, and I would just like write my scripts for like 5, 6, 7 hours at a time. The way I struggle with like new songs, and I struggle with songs with lyrics, and so I need stuff with like a good beat that gets me into a right mindset, but is like repetitive and familiar enough that it doesn't distract me from what I'm doing. And so I'll just play the same song on loop for like 8-hour blocks of time. And so Midnight Motorist is burned into my memory at this point, and I think there was a good chunk of like 20 episodes that were written with that one as like the backing track for a while.
It's so good, and the newer music as well with Security Breach and stuff, and Ruin, like such bangers, man. FNAF World 2, FNAF World has got some good bangers as well.
Yes, it does.
It really does.
You are right though, some of the songs are so underrated.
Right.
Yeah.
So Cheeto Man.
Yeah,
Cheeto Man, the mustard guy.
Yeah. Who do you think he is? Like,
I mean, I think at this point we can all be relatively assured that it's William Afton.
No,
right?
I
think
don't.
that feels like the community, in a world where we disagree about so many things in the FNAF community, I think we as a unit have collectively decided, like, hey, this was confusing when it first came out, and rightfully so, but time has kind of gone on to show that this is very definitively
Bonnie's
Afton.
Lullaby? I have no
You know,
idea.
the
What up,
reason he's
Galdar?
yellow, great question.
No,
you know,
maybe that's the thing is I don't agree. I don't agree that it's William Afton at this point. At this point, I think FNAF may or may not prove me wrong, but at this point I don't even want to say FNAF. The demo has proven that, because just playing some 7 Days to Die, nice. I remember playing that back in the day. But I don't. It's hard. It's hard to say that that I agree with that anymore. That I think FNAF has proved it, because here's the thing. Here's my thing is more than one person's allowed to own a purple car, right? And Afton can own a purple car, and Fritz's dad can own a purple car. They're both allowed to own purple cars, right? So that necessarily, I don't know, because the purple car is called Midnight Motor, it kind of establishes that it is the car from Midnight Motors. But again, it still doesn't mean that it is William Afton's car just because it has the Golden Bonnie thing on it. The Golden Bonnie could allude to the fact that Golden Bonnie is the animatronic in Midnight Motorist that we are looking at, right? Where we're like, oh, which animatronic was it? Or what suit was it that was used to lure the kid out? You know, that could be what the nod is. It could be a nod that, because it's on the back side of the car too, that it was like Golden Bonnie was in the back. Like, that's what it could mean, instead of it being this is William Afton's car, because Golden Bonnie thing on the thing. It could be that the Golden Bonnie head is sitting on the back, and I'm literally coming up with this in real time right now. It's like popping into my head that actually could be what that is. But that could be, I mean, it's a little bit more convoluted. Obviously, you know, Arkham's Razor teaches us that the most likely scenario is probably the correct scenario, and that it saying that it's William Afton's car is probably more likely, but it doesn't necessarily mean that is absolutely 100% correct. It could be that the Golden Bonnie head means that Golden Bonnie was in the back of Midnight Motorist, and in the back of the house of Midnight Motorist. Like, that's what it could have meant. So, and again, I'm just now thinking about that, and it's like, yeah, that's what that could be. It could be the car shows, this is the car from Midnight Motorist, what you were talking about. Sorry, no, Galdar, you're fine, dude. I'm talking about Five Nights at Freddy's stuff. I don't know if you know this, or if you've been watching any live streams or stuff, been like the last 3 months, I've kind of been transitioning into doing Five Nights at Freddy's theorizing, because I've been part of the fan community for the last decade, but recently I've been trying to think of what new thing I can do content-wise that will excite me, because I got really just kind of bored and defeated playing just normal games and hoping for something, to the point where now I gotta do something that I'm actually gonna be passionate about when I do it. And this is I've always loved Five Nights at Freddy's and theorizing and stuff, so I'm like, fuck it, I'm just gonna throw my hat into the ring with everybody else when it comes to theorizing. And so now here we are. 200 almost 200 subscribers later since I started doing it, so it's not bad. It's been doing all right. Animatronic Ennard head. Oh yeah, you told me about that, Light. That's dope. But yeah, maybe that's what Midnight Motorist really meant. It was supposed to tell us that Bonnie was in the back of the house. That was the Bonnie. That was Golden. That was Springtrap in the back of the house, because it's Springtrap's head on the back side of Midnight Motor. Could be. I did? Oh, yeah. You did like 2 or 3 weeks ago. You were telling us that you made an Ennard head for like cosplaying or whatnot. And that you were like putting voice lines on it or something like that too and stuff. But yeah. Anyways, back into it.
This is before he became the purple guy, or purple and yellow are the two colors that tend to contrast themselves in a lot of cases in this franchise. Maybe it was just a creative decision because a lot of the action in this minigame is happening at night, and it's a dark color palette. And so Scott chose something yellow that still associates it with the purple guy, but is differentiated so that way it's not like a dark purple blob on like a dark blue-gray background for this night, But I think based on...
Again, I think that's a really cheap cop-out for why it's William Afton, but yellow. Like, I think, again, 100%... the fact that the car is purple and other things, like, it doesn't look bad. Like, purple wouldn't be that bad, right? That he could clearly make him purple guy and not be a big issue. Like, this is a completely different, like, build, color, everything, that I think it's supposed to indicate that this is not William Afton.
Everything around, the fact that he's driving the purple car, the fact that he's this angry, aggressive person, the fact that it connects with the Charlie Death minigame in the security puppet minigames. All of that seems to indicate, like, hey, this is William Afton. Sure, the color palette doesn't match, but, all the other clues are pointing in this direction. And as we've seen since,
but they're not.
The way that this story...
But that's the thing, it's like they're not at the same time. Again, I think the thing that throws it off for me is the fact that, yes, it says later that night, and that's kind of what ties it to the Charlie murder thing. But, like, here, my thing about it is that, what was I going to say? Is that if it was really later that night, to make the connection stronger or feel more right, you should be getting the puppet game, the security puppet game before Midnight Motorist, to really line it up. Like, here's this, then later that night is this. Whereas, like I said, right now it goes Fruity Maze, Midnight Motorist. Like, here's this, later that night this. Like, I don't know. But again, that's my own personal bias at this point, and it could be what they're saying. But I feel like the not making him purple it's a decision. It's a really big decision, and to take William Afton and not make him purple after him being purple in literally every other minigame up to this point really is a weird choice. A really weird choice for Scott to make that doesn't really, like... Go ahead. All right, Beanie, have fun, man. Beanie, I don't know if you've seen, man, but that short that you sent me got, like, almost 600 views. So, good on you, man. It did good. It did actually just as good, maybe, like, 10 views less than Dabs' short, but still, it did really good. I appreciate it, man. It was really cool. But anyways, like, it just doesn't make sense that 6 games in, like, how many mini games has William Afton been in at this point? And then all of a sudden Scott's like, I'm gonna make him yellow this time. Like, it just doesn't. It doesn't make sense. Yeah. Oh yeah, the green screen stuff. Absolutely, it's funny. The funny part about the green screens, especially the less, the less specific they are, the better they will probably perform, because anyone can watch them and find them funny and whatnot. So, but yeah, if you make any more, if anyone makes any green screen edits, send it to me, and I will add them onto the channel as a short. Probably if they're like 55, you gotta make them like 55 seconds or less. I'll add them to the channel and whatnot. But anyways, yeah, it doesn't. To me, it doesn't make sense to take William Afton from being purple guy to being yellow dude or whatever. So, but we're keep watching.
Tells its clues, and the way that it kind of communicates its lore has really evolved over time. And in retrospect, you're like, oh, I guess that makes sense. But in the moment when this is like, this is the first time that we're seeing William Afton in yellow, that's a weird call out. But you figure it out with time.
Yeah, I just thought of something as well. Why did Scott make him mustardy or golden? I thought it could be before he's got corrupted. Like, because, we've always seen, like, the Shadow animatronics, like Shadow Freddy, like, it's gold, but then purple. So it could be, like, the opposites, and it could be, like, the origins of William Afton, because we know it should be like the start of his first murder.
Well, and I think that's the question, right? And as with a lot of things in this franchise, there's a couple of key questions that people are still on the fence about.
No,
once you decide your answer to it, all the rest of the dominoes fall. And so, and so many other pieces fit into place. So, for instance here, if Charlie is in fact William Afton's first murder, and this is that night, because the minigame's later that night, right? And this is the night of Charlie's murder, then yeah, him being yellow makes a lot of sense, because he has not descended or evolved into the purple guy yet, right? Like, this is his first murder, he's not a serial killer, and so this is the first of what will be a line of murders, and so he goes from yellow, innocent, whatever, to evil, purple, sinister color that he ends up being for the rest of the franchise, right? So if Charlie is in fact the first,
that feels too convoluted of like a reason, right? William Afton changes color, but here's the thing. That doesn't work then, because in the FNAF 4 minigames here, so FNAF 4 minigames. FNAF 4 minigames, images, right here. This is purple. This is clearly William Afton as purple guy, right here. And this scene takes place before any murders, period. Right? And he's in the shadows or whatnot, but this guy isn't. So this was a clear decision by Scott to make him purple. Clear decision by Scott to make William Afton purple pre-murders. So again, it would not make sense for him to make him yellow in Midnight Motorist to show he hasn't been corrupted yet, if in a earlier scene in FNAF 4 he's purple. Like, I get that FNAF 6 comes later on. Obviously, he made that game after FNAF 4. But you would think that he, again, continuity. Like, you got to keep things, continuing on. And this would not be continuing it on, because he made him purple well before he needed to. He could have easily made him yellow or made him a normal person. I mean, this guy is standing in the exact same room right next to him. Why is he full color, but this character right here, who is clearly supposed to be purple guy, clearly supposed to be William Afton, why is he specifically purple? Nothing about this scene indicates that he needs to be in full shadow, but he is fully lit up. Doesn't make sense. If this is him purple, then he should remain purple for the entire game series, because there is no corruption that obviously has happened, right? Unless Charlie literally happens before this scene, which I believe this scene is the scene of his first ever murder, when he murders this kid right here. This kid right here. Dave. Vengeful Spirit. Anyways, we won't get into that right now. Still have a picture of Matthew Lillard up too. Look, it's Matthew Lillard. But anyways, back into it.
Murder, that works out really well.
Nope.
But as we've seen
Doesn't
with,
work.
You know, some of the more recent entries with like Help Wanted 2 and the gravestones and the puppets, right? Where Charlie
Thank
as
you.
the puppet is actually the last
Yeah.
of the ones revealed to kind of like solve the code at the end of Help Wanted 2, and you unlock the Bonnie Bully mask at the end of that one. Is that implying that Charlie the puppet is the last of the murder victims? In which case that theory doesn't
I think it is.
hold as much water, right? That the yellow to purple thing. And so it's one of those things where...
See, Charlie last makes a lot of sense to me. Because it would be like, so in my theory, so in my head canon, this is death number 1, right? This is death number 1 before he dons the yellow rabbit suit. Kills Dave. Cassidy finds the body, becomes scared of animatronics. Goes through the Williams, like, you know, dealing with this inner turmoil all through this week, and it's one of the reasons why he's not dealing with Cassidy, even though Cassidy's having like this huge, you know, like crisis of being afraid of animatronics and being bullied. It's why William's not around, because he's like, this whole week is him struggling with this thought of like, I murdered somebody. Is it okay? Is it not okay? Am I going to get caught? Like, I think this is like the week of William freaking out, and that's why he's not at all available for his son at all, right? And you know, and then Cassidy gets bit and goes into a coma, and now he's got this extra turmoil like extra internal turmoil to deal with, along with the fact that he murdered a kid. And I think like murdering the kid was like cathartic for him in a way, because I think what happened was he was in like a jealous rage for Henry for another reason. Maybe he overheard people like praising Henry or something like that, and he went into like a jealous fit. And then Dave came in, being a young kid, annoyed him. He tried to he tried to calm him down or like hush him up or whatnot, and like put him in the suit to like scare him or something. And then the suit triggers. He accidentally murders him in a very violent, agonizing way. And that's why he's the vengeful spirit and the one you should not have killed, and blah, 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 blah. But then like he's going through this turmoil. He like covers it up, makes Henry think that Dave got kidnapped instead of, you know, being murdered by his business partner. So that's why Henry then builds the security puppet to try and stop other kidnappings from happening. But then while William is like wondering whether or not he got away with it, blah, 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 Cassidy gets bit, goes into a coma. William's now dealing with that trauma, but remembers that the killing of Sammy, even though it was like freaking him out, it was kind of cathartic at the same time. It relieved his like jealousy. So he gets this idea that maybe he could do it again, or like he's like he's not like mentally all there because he's dealing with a lot of shit, and he ends up murdering. Like he's like, I want to do it again. Like he's like, I want to do it again. So he devises a new way of like luring the kids into the back. So like Susie, yo, here's my theory, go for it. So he's like, hey, you know, because that's like the thing is like it goes like the Fritz being Midnight Motors thing kind of leads into the Susie thing. Like with Susie, he's like, hey, I have your dog. He's not actually dead. He's in the back. Come with me. She follows the golden rabbit to the back. He murders her, right? Fritz, he sees, has an abusive father, and he's like, hey, you know, you're always safe here with me, was made from the Mimic. Maybe. The Mimic might be... Well, no, because the Mimic is from 1979. No, because the Mimic is from 1979, and the security puppet doesn't show up anytime before 1983. The security puppet doesn't show up till soon before Charlie dies. right? This is 1983, and the puppet is nowhere to be seen in this location, yet. So that wouldn't be yeah. Sorry, I mean it would be a good idea, but I think the Mimic is pre Fazbear Entertainment, because Fazbear Entertainment wasn't made till 1983. 1983 is when Fazbear Entertainment is established. So, anyways, back to the story. Yeah, I mean back to the video.
Depending on other answers to the franchise, certain things do or don't make sense, right? Like you can and that's the endless frustration and beauty of this franchise, is that there are so many clues that work that way, where you can line up the dominoes and they all make sense and they make a logical progression. It's like, oh, baby was the first murdered, which is why that's what the crying child saw, and so that's why he sees a bunch of stomach mouths. That's why he's a
But time out on that. He doesn't see a bunch of stomach mouths. He sees one stomach mouth. And that's why I don't think Elizabeth is the first one. Plus, also, it doesn't line up. Elizabeth's death doesn't line up with the rest of the series, right? It just doesn't. It doesn't line up. No, again, my theory right here is this theory right here gives us stomach mouth Fredbear, Golden Fredbear, but no one else, right? Because that's the thing, is he doesn't see a bunch of stomach mouths. He sees one stomach mouth. If you look at the Nightmare animatronics, the game animatronics, if you look at, okay, not these four. Yeah, see, those aren't stomach mouths. That's just wear and tear. There's no teeth. Now, if you look at all 6 of them, you see one stomach mouth. You see one stomach that has teeth to it. And that is Fredbear's. That's it. That's the only Nightmare animatronic that has a stomach mouth to it. All the other ones, they're just wear and tear, empty space, empty space, empty space, empty space. It's just where the torso and the legs are is wear and tear. Fredbear, Gold Fredbear specifically, is the only one who has a stomach mouth. And why would he think that Golden Fredbear has a stomach mouth? Because when he discovers Dave dead in the suit, the head is not attached. So how did Fred get ate by the animatronic? This animatronic must have a stomach mouth. And it could even be that maybe the stomach was like maybe in the actual, like when he actually sees him, the front is open, because maybe that's the way they get in. They like put it on. Because like if you look at FNAF movie spring lock animatronic in the back. Let me see images. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah. See this? The animatronic. Look, you get in from the front and you close it in on itself, right? So what if that's the way the Golden Freddy suit works? The Fredbear Golden animatronic spring suit works is you get in from the front. So there's like a front latch or something that opens up, and you climb in it that way and then close it. So it would look to a young kid in the dark, because also this is in the dark. Like there's sometimes a little opening in different. Yeah, exactly. So maybe it's like he sees that it opens in the front and he thinks it's a stomach mouth, because that would be the only way for this kid to have gotten in there, right? Like, and that's the thing, is we always, because where did we see kids getting stuffed into suits first? We saw it in a game theorist FNAF theory video where we saw the kids going in through the neck holes and then being pushed down in. But what if that's not the actual way you get into these animatronic suits? What if there's like a back latch or a front hatch that opens up, that's where he put the kids in from? We just assumed that it was from the top. But if anyone argues with me and tries to tell me that these are wires, to each their own, but let's be serious. Those are not... Those are not wires. That's not wires. That's not wires sticking out. Wires would be black. That's hair. That suit is filled with somebody. That suit has a small child spring locked inside of it. That's what it is. This is Dave, the vengeful spirit, the one you should not have killed. Plain and simple. Simple. But yeah, that's why he sees one stomach mouth.
Afraid of the animatronics, and that's why there's only 2 people in the FNAF 4 house. You know, that's why he keeps breaking out to visit a gravesite, blah, 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 and those dominoes all line up. But the first domino was Elizabeth Afton scooped by Baby first. Right?
No.
That's a big if, right? That's a big...
Foxy, I'm here. Please don't say my name. Don't say Foxy. Yer, Foxy, how you be doing, matey?
question mark. The whole Charlie thing then. You know, where does Charlie fit in, and is it before the bite victim? Is it before Elizabeth? The first murders of this franchise really function as these first dominoes that there's a lot of lore bits that we as a community have put together that make narrative sense in any of those directions. It's just you're still waiting to figure out what that first domino is to fall to tell us what.
I come with a treasure.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Yeah.
Here's my question. Here's my question. How old do we think Elizabeth was when she got scooped? Come with a treasure? Go for your treasure, man. I appreciate it. But how old do we think Elizabeth was when she got? Just my own theory on the side. I feel like one of the suits that the Mimic was wearing caught fire, which made Fall Fest burn down. Maybe. But maybe... So here's one of my theories. Because it looks like Fall Fest burns down in 83. Right? Here's actually a theory that may or may not come out to be true. But in my head canon, right, the MCIs happen in 1983. They happen very soon after this incident and this incident. Because here's the thing. We have yet to see anywhere else in the franchise where this 5th MCI death could have occurred, right? We know that all 5 of them took place in the same restaurant because that's what the news articles tell us in FNAF 1, that there was 5 deaths and they all occurred at the same location. This is the only time where we see where this could be the 5th death that counts, because it's 5 deaths by a unknown suit wearer, but unknown employee, lured kids to the back and then murdered them. Right? Now, initially, this one looks like a kidnapping until the other 4 happen and Henry finally realizes what actually happened. But it was a kidnapping, but I think when the other 4 happen, cops and everyone come to the realization, no, this must have been the 5th, this must have also been one of the murders, right? So we only have 7 options for the 5 deaths. We have Susie, Fritz, Jeremy, and Gabriel, who are clearly 4 of them, right? We have video evidence of these 4. They are definitely 4. Now we have 3 deaths left over to be considered the 5th kill. We have Cassidy, who can't be it because he was bit in public and he doesn't die till weeks or months later when he succumbs to his injuries while in a coma. So he's out. Could be Charlie, but Charlie is murdered outside of the pizzeria, and I think her body is discovered in the trash. She's discarded as trash, and it happens after the other. We know that it's the last death, so it can't count. The only one that can still count out of the deaths that we know about is this one right here. Oswald need hand and flashlight to rescue his dad. What? Oh. Need Freddy to leave, but Oswald needs hand and flashlight to rescue. Is that right? It's weird. But no, so it's only this one left. Dave. So Dave is our 5th murder. And if Dave is our 5th victim in the MCI, that means all 5 MCI victims have to have happened at this restaurant for it to be one conclusive death group, right? So in order for that to be correct, that means that all 5 deaths happened at the FNAF 4 Freddy Fazbear Pizzeria location. I think this is a Fredbear diner that turns into a FNAF 1 location, that turns into the FNAF 1 location where all 5 deaths occur. And if this is the 5th death, then that ties it all together, right? Where was I going with this? Now I'm lost. Now I've already lost myself. Yeah, oh, wait. So that's why I think that they all take place in 1983. If they all take place in 1983... Wait, pause. Little off topic, but you're telling me that there is a giant cave system under the Pizzaplex, but somehow the Pizzaplex, this ton mall, does not completely 100% get destroyed. It depends on how far deep that cave is and how sturdy it is, because you got to think about Rome. Both Rome and France both have extensive catacombs underneath them, and they don't collapse, right? There's extensive catacombs underneath underneath Paris, underneath Rome, underneath London, underneath so many other, like, there's so many ancient cities out there that have like vast underground cities that exist underneath them that were once literally above ground and now they're underground because they've been like covered over and everything else. But there are like these vast areas underground that you would think would, but never did. Crying Childs get a Fredbear bite, right? But why he can save? What do you mean? Why he can save? I don't know what you're talking. Foxy, that was very weird. Almost English. You'll have to clarify what you're trying to say to me. But yeah. So that's the thing. It's just reinforcement and just the way the ground works. Here's the funny thing. Like you think about it this way. Even after it snows, rains, or whatever else, you go into big box stores like a Walmart or a Sam's Club or something like that. You see how big that place is, how hollow it is, and it only has a few support beams throughout the whole structure that keeps it standing. How Candy Cadet is not destroyed 100%. Luck. Luck. Magic. Spiritual energy. Tell me how the big red what's it called, the Okayami Gate or whatever it is, there it is, the Torii gates, where's the big Torii gate, where's the Torii gates, hold on. In Okinawa? No, not Okinawa. Yeah, there it is. Hiroshima. There it is, the Hiroshima one. Nagasaki, that's it. Yeah. So yeah, this guy right here. Okay, it's white now. It used to be red, I think, at one point. So check this out. So this Torii Gate right here, it has survived 2 major earthquakes and an atomic bomb. But what if Candy Cadet and the Hair, Tough, and Fredbear is connected, but that's just a theory? That'd be weird. That'd be a weird theory. But yeah, so this structure right here, which obviously, like, nothing about it says I should survive everything. This thing survived 2 major earthquakes and an atomic bomb undamaged. Or almost completely undamaged. Why? Because sometimes things just get lucky. But yeah. Yeah, this is, but I mean, so I respect Matt. Matt is one of the, he's one of the leading experts on FNAF. But I feel like he has the same problem that I think a lot of theorists that came before me have, and that is that they have certain beliefs or theories that they have locked into so hard that even when new information comes up that kind of can alter that judgment, their brain doesn't go there. And I mean, Matt himself has admitted to this, that he has been locked in a specific way of thinking about the game, that until someone else comes around and says, "But what about this?" it doesn't pop up in his head. Like, new clues can come out, but he's going to take those clues and run them in the direction of his already perceived storyline until something major comes out and smacks him in the face and goes, "No, you're wrong," right? As long as that doesn't happen to him, he's going to continue to run in the same logic that he has been. So that's why when they say stuff like this, I'm like, no, wrong, I don't see it that way. But that's because I'm new to theorizing, so my theories are newer with more evidence based, and I look at things differently than like MatPat does, because he's been locked in for so long in a certain direction. Like, and like Hyperdroid with his believing that Cassidy has to be the vengeful spirit, because he believes that Cassidy is supposed to be a girl, because there was one piece of evidence that made him believe that it was a girl, and he's never gotten past it. And that's not a failings. Like, that's not a failing of Hyperdroids. That's just, once you're locked into some of that logic, you don't go away. And I mean, I'm very much also guilty of this too, with the whole vengeful spirit, being Henry's son thing. There is nothing that's telling me that I'm wrong, so I'm right until something finally smacks me in the face and says I'm wrong, right? Why did William just get a normal jaw for Fredbear? Wait, that was Henry. Why did William just get... What do you mean a normal jaw for Fredbear? Why did William just get a normal jaw for Fredbear? Wait, that was Henry. What are you talking about? What are you talking about, nerd? Hello, Dabs. MatPat, everyone is allowed to be wrong, Dabs. Everyone's wrong. I'm going to be wrong. Clearly, I was wrong about some stuff. But no, but yeah. Like, not one that could kill. Oh, that's... Who knows? Maybe he just... That was the thing. Like, they did a realistic theory on whether or not Fredbear's jaw should be able to bite down and crush a child's head, and they proved that it shouldn't have actually been possible, that Henry must have done some amazing engineering on Golden Freddy for his jaw to be able to crush a small child's head. My theory, Golden Freddy has two souls, and if the souls leave in Golden Freddy, he turns to Shadow Freddy, right? Wrong. Shadow Freddy exists even when Golden Freddy still exists. Sorry, no offense. I'm just saying that there is evidence in the games to prove that Shadow Freddy and Golden Freddy both exist at the same time. So that can't be, like, that. It's physically impossible. My theory on Shadow Freddy and Shadow Bonnie they are the two workers that we hear about in FNAF 3 who died to spring lock accidents. To simultaneous spring lock incidences that caused deaths. I think they're the two workers who died in the spring lock suits, and that's why they listen and do what William Afton tells them to do, because they died working for William Afton. So in their spiritual afterlife, their spirits wandering stuff, they believe they still have to listen to him. Right? If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. If you guys also haven't watched some of the old theories, make sure you guys go back and watch some theories. Get us some view hours. Working on that 3,000 view hour goal. And we are currently at 1,348 public watch hours. So you guys go back and watch some of them live streams again to get us up even higher. That'd be awesome. Everyone knows that Shadow Freddy is Jerry the Janitor. Could be Jerry the Janitor. Everyone knows that. Yeah. that's my theory on Freddy and Shadow Freddy and Shadow Bonnie until something else comes up. That's just my working theory. It makes sense. But it could be something completely different. I don't know yet. But yeah, working on all that stuff. Where'd Henry go? Henry got arrested for the murders. So we see in FNAF 1 that somebody was arrested and convicted for the MCI murders. I believe it was Henry. So what I think happened was, I think everything happens in 1983, in the summer of 1983. Oh, and that's what I was talking about, was the Fall Fest potentially burning down. So in 1983, in the summer of 1983, 5 children are lured to the back and murdered, right? And they catch the culprit on tape wearing a golden Bonnie suit. There's only 2 people in the whole restaurant who have unfettered access to that suit that wouldn't be, like, that we couldn't know who was wearing it. And that was Henry and William. Well, William currently had a son who was in a coma at the hospital. So he had an alibi. I was with my son at the hospital. Don't believe me? Go ask him. Oh, wait, he's in a coma. The only other suspect was Henry. And Henry is fucking weird. It is described in the books and everywhere else that Henry was very fucking weird. Henry was one of those, like, erratic geniuses, right? Where he was like, he was hard to talk to at times because in his brain, in his head, he was always partially back at his workshop working on new innovations for his animatronics. So if you arrest a guy like that, put him on the stand in front of people back in the 80s, they're going to see his neurotic behavior and be like, this guy is definitely the murderer. And so they convict him. And so he's in jail for 4 years until FNAF 2 location opens up. And those deaths happen from a golden Bonnie suit again, which then gives evidence that clearly it wasn't Henry because Henry's still in jail. So Henry gets released. Wait, pause. In the Freddy files, it says the bite victim survived. So maybe the crying child was the Pizzaplex owner. Well, no, it says that he survives the initial attack. It doesn't say that he goes on to permanently survive. It just says that also, no. You're thinking of the wrong bite victim. You're thinking of the bite of 87. Is that the bite of 87? The Freddy Files says the bite of 87 victim survived. Because he did survive. He lost his frontal lobe, but he did survive. Oh, yeah. Yeah. My mistake. No, you're good. You're good. Yes, he does. The bite of 87 victim does survive. Cassidy, the bite of 83, on the other hand, does not survive. It is very much alluded to at the end of FNAF 4 that he does succumb to his injuries eventually, and he dies. Denver Busted, what's going on, man? How you doing? Everybody, if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell to get notifications whenever I go live. Always appreciate you guys hanging out. Prize for Vendetta is on... What? I don't know. What? Is that FNAF related? Is a cartoon? Is it a Five Nights at Freddy's cartoon? Okay. So here's the thing, Denver. Why? We play in Crying Child's Dream. That's up for debate. Some people think that we're playing as Crying Child in a coma. Some people believe that we might be playing as Michael Afton getting nightmare gassed by William. There is a lot of evidence to both. But I think the standing evidence really proves more towards Michael. Here's my question, Denver, if you're still here, because you probably left the second I didn't immediately do what you asked me to do, but why would you come into a clearly titled FNAF Theories and other stuff stream and then tell me to go watch some cartoon series that has nothing to do with what I'm talking about. So nerd, again, you're confusing the bite of 87 with the bite of 83. Bite of 87, frontal lobe gone. Bite of 83, whole head crushed. No, he said that as a theory, but even he's gone on to say that he didn't like that theory. That he doesn't actually fully like the William Afton or Mrs. Afton going on to become the CEO. Yeah. So again, that was. I think you've been watching old theories without getting caught up with the new theories. So he's gone on to correct himself on that one too. He did think that the bite so in the MatPat timeline and MatPat theories timeline, MatPat theorized the frontal lobe, bite Cassidy being the bite victim. He thought that this was the bite of 87 originally when he made that theory of him having nightmares and it being impossible because he missed this. Friend Bear and Friends, 1983. He missed that this takes place in 1983 because he did that theory and Scott himself went into the comments on that video and was like, are you sure? Or like he said, he basically was like, maybe you should watch the TV, my dude. So then we went back, we watched the TV, we saw a timestamp of 1983 and learned, we're in the wrong year. Good for Jeremy. Jeremy, on the other hand, appears to be our 1987 victim. So not good for Jeremy. He does live. He doesn't die. But he has no frontal lobe. So good old Jeremy has no inhibitions anymore. He just doesn't care. Anyways. Yes. But yeah. Oh, crap. I keep doing this. Okay. So... But why is the crying child room different? What do you mean? Why is this? Oh, yeah, that's what I mean. It's like, that's why evidence shows that it's actually probably Michael, right? Because if we look at, FNAF 5 map. If we look at the FNAF 5 map, boom, 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 there, this is the FNAF 4 location. This is the FNAF 4 location. So this is the FNAF 4 house. Right here to the pizzeria. Over here is, or right here actually, is the FNAF 5 location. So it actually looks like more than likely what is actually happening is that, hold on, is that Michael is being nightmare gassed by William to collect agony. That he is running his own son through a nightmare scenario as his own little brother to create agony. This right here brings up another theory of mine, which I do need to make a video about too, because I do actually think I'm right about this one also. The FNAF 3 minigames. Hold on. FNAF 3 minigames. Right? Images. Specifically this minigame right here. Where William is tearing apart the animatronics outside of the security room. Right? This one right here, I think is actually this location also, and is this. What about the disc? What disc? What do you mean the disc? Illusion discs? You talking about the illusion disc? The illusion disc. It could be a combination of Nightmare Gas and Illusion Discs. Nightmare Gas to put him into a panic mode, and then Illusion Discs to make the Nightmare animatronics look a specific way. Good Could be. Could be, could not be. It could be though. Yeah. But yeah. But now, yeah, so this pipe right here, I think actually connects to this right here. Because William Afton is somehow getting into the FNAF 1 location, completely disassembling a animatronic and taking its endoskeleton back to the sister location to melt it down to inject it into the fun times without getting caught. Why is he not getting caught? Because there is a secret tunnel, secret tunnel between the FNAF 1 location and sister location. So and where would the secret tunnel connect to but the secret room in the back of the FNAF 1 location? In the secret room that we are told about in FNAF 3 also. So we're told about a secret room in a secret room in a FNAF location, while also seeing in that secret room him taking apart animatronics outside of it, hiding in it to get to the animatronics outside of it, to take them apart, to then take the endoskeleton somewhere. And it's like, where does he take him? How does he get him there without being caught? Because obviously he's on the lam at this point from the police. So I think secret tunnel, you know, cue the secret tunnel from Avatar. Secret tunnel brings him into security, into sister location, where I'm sure somewhere around here he has like a melting down area, melts them down and pumps their liquids into the fun time animatronics. Bada bing, bada boom. That story element is taken care of now. Anyways, so how old do we think Elizabeth was when she got yoinked? Because I think in FNAF 4, she was 3. But the Mimic was at Fall Fest and was trapped there. Then Fredbear's is over that. Then FNAF 1, then FNAF 3, then FNAF 6. And only then he gets free in Security Breach DLC. We don't know anything about that. So here's the problem. She was 6. In FNAF, I think when she got snatched, she was 7. I think she's 3 in FNAF 3, and I think she's 7 when she gets snatched, and I think she gets snatched right before the murders of FNAF 2. The FNAF 2 DCI kids, the 6 kids who get killed in FNAF 2 by the Golden Freddy, by the Gold Bonnie, and I think her death is what causes William Afton to don the gold suit again and murder more children, because again the emotional turmoil of losing a child re-triggers his murder instinct, and he goes on another murder spree with the golden suit. And that's when cops realize, oh, it was William Afton the whole time. Henry's innocent. Henry gets released in 1987. So Henry spends 4 years in prison. While he's in prison is when Charlie gets murdered at the end of 83 by William Afton, and I believe that murder happens the same night that Cassidy succumbs to his injuries and dies. I think Cassidy dies. William, again, emotional turmoil from one of his kids dying, or almost dying, well, actually dying this time. Emotional turmoil. He is out. He sees Charlie stuck outside of the pizzeria, and she's probably shunned from the pizzeria because her dad is now known as the murderer. So obviously the other kids are going to shun her, kick her out, bully her. So they shun her out of the pizzeria because her dad's a murderer, right? And they don't want to hang out with that. And maybe she'll also be, murdery or whatnot. So they kick her out of the pizzeria. She's outside crying. William's already mad, or already in turmoil because Cassidy just died. He sees the daughter of the man whose animatronic killed his son, and so he murders her, but he can't murder her the same way he's been murdering kids, so he has to make it look like a mugging or something on the outside, so he kills her and throws her body in the trash. Why is it me on the Foxy sign of FNAF? Wait, why is it blank me on the Foxy sign of FNAF? What do you mean? Foxy sign FNAF 1. FNAF 1 Foxy sign. Oh, it's me. Oh, so that's Cassidy. That's Crying Child, Cassidy. That's what he says. He's trying to tell because it's established at this point that we believe that Michael Afton is the security guard in FNAF 1, and that it's me is Cassidy trying to tell him that he is still at the location. Why there? It's anywhere. It's anywhere. Hold on. FNAF 1. Hold on. FNAF 1. It's me. Images. So here you go. We can go through all of them. It pops up on the wall. Fredbear's face pops up sometimes when it's me. It's me without an animatronic. It pops up while you're in the thing. It pops up on the sign. It can pop up, everywhere. It's me. It's me. It's me. It's me. It's me. It can pop up anywhere and everywhere. Sometimes. You gotta not look at that. But yeah. But here's the thing. It's me can pop up even without. In the Foxy mask. So Foxy, yeah. So it's me can pop up anywhere, anytime. FNAF 1 is so scary. They are all so scary. All of them were scary. But yeah. So that was the thing that Rytos pointed out, that it's me is not actually directly connected to Golden Freddy. It was just most common that people remembered seeing it's me around the same time that they saw Golden Freddy, but it's me can happen at any time in the game, anywhere in the game. So we think that that's more of an indication that Crying Child, or Cassidy as I call them, is just a wandering spirit. And isn't the second spirit in Golden Freddy. Golden Freddy is only one spirit, Dave, but that Cassidy is a wandering spirit who has no body to it, right? But yeah. Anyways, bite of I think Circus Babies and FNAF 2 location open up almost simultaneously, and that's when Elizabeth gets scooped and then William goes on a killing spree because his daughter just died. It's just the normal spirits. No, we believe it is specifically, the logbook actually confirms essentially that it's me is Cassidy specifically. To 5 dead kids? Yeah, because it is 5 dead kids. Yeah. The stories, the news articles tell us that it's 5 dead children. So. Yeah. Yeah, the logbook. The logbook lets us know that it's me is Cassidy. Is Crying Child. I forgot. No, you're good. You're good. I want to get into that too. So, and I know I'm going to make like a stand-up version of this for Dabs at some point. Oh, actually, we can just do it right now. How about this? Let's retry this from yesterday. Come here, you. Because I'm going to be done streaming here soon anyways. So let's see if we can redo this, Dabo. What up, Luke? Come here, you. Get some green screen action into play. There's that and that. Tell me, did I get it? Okay, there's that. Oh, hold on. I kicked it again. Your random question. What's your favorite FNAF book? The logbook. Wait. Okay. Green screen time, guys. Green screen time. Oh, am I? Oh, hold on. Green screen time. Green screen time. You guys got me? All right, voice. All right, I'm not going to be able to see chat because I'm not planning on reading chat for a second. I am planning on let's be honest, guys. You sit down and all your clothes start sticking to you while you're sitting down. So you got to readjust when you stand up. Just let it be, guys. Anyways, don't pay attention too much to what I'm doing. Readjusting myself. Whoop, there we go. Anyways, so yeah. So let's get into it, right? Hold on, I gotta move myself to the right look. God, I look so big. Oh, first off, I want to show off the shirt. Check this shirt out, guys. You notice anything about this shirt? I guess you can't really tell as much on stream. Hold on, let me see. Yeah, we're looking straight on. Notice that's off center. Notice that's off center. This is literally the center of my pec over here, and the other part of it goes all the way under my armpit. It's a misprint. This is a misprint Ninja Turtle shirt. It's actually supposed to look like that, but it's a misprint. So now it sits all the way over here on my shirt. It's funny. I love it. Anyways. Sure, sue the entire company. Why? It's awesome. I love having a misprint shirt. You know how many other people are going to have this shirt and it's going to look correct? That makes my shirt better. Anyways, so let's put this at the back of the video to make Dabs' job even harder. Which I guess is not really Dabs' job. It's more like Dabs' volunteering, I guess is the way to put it. I don't know. Dabs is agreeing to do this and is doing this on her own volition. I have not at all forced her into doing any editing for me whatsoever. This is her own choice. But make sure if you guys see anything edited by Dabs, watch the crap out of it. Because Dabs gets a cut of anything, if anything, that we make off of it. So if you guys want to support Dabs in her career path of trying to become my editor and rein me in, then that's what you do. You watch anything that her name is attached to. Anyways, so I want to talk about Hyperdroid and his recent video that he released on the names in the logbook, specifically the second name, Dave. So I think Hyperdroid got it right and wrong at the same time. In my opinion, Dave is actually the name that belongs to Vengeful Spirit, and Cassidy is the name that belongs to Crying Child. Now, the reason that I believe that is because of the way that we get the clues. So the 4 clues that give us EVAD, and then we flip it in the mirror to get Dave, are all the page numbers from the questions that are being asked. So my question is why would the clues that give us this name then go give us the name for the opposite character? Same thing goes for Cassidy. All of the clues that we use to get the name Cassidy are given to us by altered text, page numbers, or the answers to the personality quizzes, or are given to us by Mike with his red ink. Mike is obviously all the red penning in the logbook. So if we are only getting clues for Cassidy's name from Mike or from altered text, that would make me believe reasonably that those are all clues to give us the name to the Crying Child, because that's the altered text. Whereas all the clues to give us EVAD or Dave when flipped are all given to us by the questions being asked by faded text, who we are calling Vengeful Spirit. So again, why would the clues that are being given to us by Vengeful Spirit then give us the name of the Crying Child? I believe that the names are flopped. I believe the theory on how to get the names are solid, super solid on how to solve these puzzles, but I believe the solutions are actually meant for the opposite characters than who we're giving them to. And I understand why some people are doing this. Some people believe that the Vengeful Spirit is supposed to be a girl, and the name Cassidy in America is a girl's name. But as we know, the Aftons are actually from the UK. They're British. And in Britain, or the UK, Cassidy is also a male name. It is a unisex name that can be used for both girls and boys, but is very common for a boy to have over there. And since they are from the UK, it would make sense that a British name would belong to a British boy, aka Crying Child, or as I call them, Cassidy Afton. Dave can be contributed to the Golden Freddy Vengeful Spirit because in all other areas of the FNAF franchise, Golden Freddy is a boy. In the Silver Eye series, his name is Mike. In the FNAF movie, Golden Freddy is the blonde boy. in some of the short stories, characters who are like described as potentially being a Golden Freddy stand-in are also males, including, I believe, Andrew in the Stitch Wraith line. Also, the picture used for the Vengeful Spirit at the end of the UCN is actually just a picture of Scott Cawthon's own son, just overexposed and colorized to make it look kind of creepy. So a lot of information is telling us that Golden Freddy, the Vengeful Spirit child, is actually a boy child. And in this case, I believe their name is Dave. I also believe that they're Henry's son, but we're getting into that in a different video. How'd that work for you, Dabs? That good? You can get a thumbs up in chat that worked for you, Dabs. Okay, I'm back. Yarhar. What did we see? Who's your favorite FNAF animatronic? Foxy. The red lake under the Plex and the lake that the old man is fishing at. I believe those are attributed to. Yes, beautiful. Thank you. Awesome. I hope that actually works for you to make a good video out of. Hopefully. Again, green screen some like Into the Pit gameplay or something behind me, unless you're putting up specific images to point out the logbook stuff, which is up to you. But anyways, yeah. So, yeah. So when it comes to the Vengeful Spirit we believe was actually spring locked in the Golden Freddy suit, and that in the FNAF universe is described as like the worst way to go because it collapses your lungs, it floods them with your own blood, and you essentially drown in your own blood, incapable of making noise. So if you die to spring locks, you can't even alert other people to your misery. You just drown in your own blood to death. And Rytoast, I think, got it right when he said that all the red lake imagery from like the Dreadbear DLC and Help Wanted, the red lake under the Pizzaplex and Ruin. It's also, Old Man Consequences Lake, and there's some other red water imagery and some of the short stories and stuff all attribute to drowning in your own blood, which would be the Vengeful Spirit, which would be the kid who got spring locked in the Golden Freddy suit. That's again why I think that is Vengeful Spirit. Yeah. Why Mr. Afton kill me and my friend? So MatPat even agreed with me in a video on this at one point. Maybe he just likes killing kids, right? That's how he deals with his emotional trauma from his kids dying. Cassidy Afton got his head chomped on. William Afton went on to murder 4 kids to kind of get over that emotional turmoil. Cassidy dies to his injuries eventually, and William Afton murders the daughter of his business partner after getting his business partner arrested for the murders that he himself committed. His daughter gets scooped by an animatronic that he commissioned to be built, and then went on a 6-kid killing spree to deal with that emotional trauma. Because I guess 4 wasn't going to be enough this time. You are so smart. It's Red Lakes. Yeah. But Rytoast came up with that theory before me. That wasn't me. The old man is fishing for Cassidy. Old man isn't fishing for Cassidy. Old man is fishing. Old man consequences may be Henry, which would make sense if he's Henry. Even more so if my Dave theory is correct, because my Dave theory is that Dave, the Vengeful Spirit, is Henry's son, and so Old Man Consequences being Henry would make even more sense because that's Henry telling his own son to let William Afton go and to rest because his job is done. I might go into that more. I'm going to go into that more in my FNAF 4 Dave / Vengeful Spirit is Henry's son video that will be coming out maybe soonish once I can finally record the whole thing for it. I might just do it during a live stream like I just did the Hyperdroid one. But anyways, guys, I'm going to go. One, I want to end this soon so Dabs doesn't have to scrub too far backwards or forward in the video to find the Hyperdroid stuff. And 2, because I need to, it has been like 2.5, 3 hours since I gotta go use the bathroom. So good night, guys. Love your faces. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. You. I don't think you're gonna be able to make it a short, Dabs, because I'm pretty sure that was longer than a minute. So yeah, I think just a short video. I don't think it will be too long. You do what you do the voodoo that you do so well, but you do it yourself. And if you guys didn't catch that, that was a Salt and Pepper lyric from like the 80s. Anyways. But anyways, love your faces. I will see you guys in the next stream. Thank you, Dabs, so much for doing what you do, because you are single-handedly actually making real content for the channel, not just the blithering madness that is my live streams. And I love all your faces. I appreciate all of you guys. If you guys haven't subscribed yet, make sure you guys do that. If you haven't hit the bell yet, make sure you do that. If you guys haven't hit the like button on the video, make sure you do that. If you guys want to really help out the channel, go back and watch some of the old live streams and stuff, or just put them on play and turn the volume off and just let them play in the background or something. I don't know. But thank you guys so much. I have many questions. No, please. Hey, come back tomorrow. I'll be streaming again tomorrow. We can answer more questions tomorrow, I promise. I will see you guys then. Bye. Like 12:20, 12:30 tomorrow, guys.